Keeping your back back while you lift your arms into an embrace, easier said than done. And we want to train the body to do this. And so we have this exercise for you. It's a deceptively simple exercise. You lay on the ground with your knees bent so that your feet can be flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart on the feet. And you can place a couple of books or a rolled up towel underneath your head. And what we're doing is we're maintaining this plane of the back. We're getting some feedback from the table or the floor on what really is back. So I'm standing here, going to go and take an embrace. What does it mean to let myself come up and back and find this direction in space? What is the vertical? And how do I know that I'm getting there? Well, you can study the vertical by laying on a horizontal surface and finding how your spine lays on the floor. How it is when it's all released and let go and has as least amount of pressure from gravity on it as possible. So we're basically trying to memorize this position, to remember what it's like to be totally comfortable, totally laid back, totally supported. That's why we use this laying down position. Now from here, there's two exercises that I'm going to give you today that reinforce this, that pattern this position into the body. So you want to start with your arms down by your side here. And the first exercise, you're going to sync your movement to your breath. And as Sophie exhales, she's going to send the direction and feel the flow down and out her arm. On an inhalation, she's going to let her wrist float up, bringing her hand until it reaches this vertical. And then as she exhales that breath, the wrist again will start and create a wave that flows through her fingers as she exhales all the way again down and out. Then the inhale comes in, the wrist raises, floats up like a balloon as the elbow stays down, and we find this movement here. So I'm going to let Sophie do it on her own a couple of times and pay attention to the synchronization of the breath and the wave-like ripple that flows through the wrist as the transition happens. The elbow goes down, the wrist goes up. The whole time, Sophie's paying attention to her spine, to her head, to her tail, letting that rest against the table. And she's just noticing in her shoulders, in her back, in her neck, are any of those muscles coming to help her hands? Or can she really not only isolate the movement to everything below the elbow, but also find an antagonistic action, a support through the whole body, so that the spine gently falls down as the fingers reach their extent up. I'll do this standing up in the embrace. When we go and embrace someone, I want to keep my back on the table, bend my elbows, lift my hands to offer an embrace. What Sophie's not doing is coming up off of the table. I don't want to leave myself to go and match my partner. I just want those wrists to float up delicately into the offering of the embrace. So you can do this 20 breaths. 20 breaths of up and down does wonders for the body. And especially if you're paying as much attention to your calm spine as to your active hands and wrists, 20 focused breaths will completely reorganize your system. Then comes part 2, where instead of finding the support in the elbows, going down to lift the wrists, she's gonna lift the elbows and the whole arm. And here she's gonna pay attention to not only the shoulders support in her back, but the whole back's back. And it's the same exercise of inhalation, letting the wrist flow up, exhalation, bending the elbow to go down. So there's a curving, wave-like motion. The wrist to the elbow, and then the elbow to the wrist. And pay special attention where it changes here at the top. This is where you find your maximum extension from the back of the back, flowing up through the arm to the fingertips. And then release that. This is the moment we want to study, because this is where we connect with our partner. When my hands are out here communicating to them, I want to find that full, comfortable range of my arms floating up and away from myself. And that's the space that I take into movement. That's the most comfortable relationship of the arms to the torso, to the spine. That's what we're trying to build up here. 20 rounds of those 2 exercises. First with the elbows, then with the whole arms. Play with it. Explore it. Listen to your body. Listen to your back and your neck and see when they seize up and when they fire and when they come to try and help you. Or see if you can actually relax your back and your neck to go down as your hands go up and away. Find that distance. Find your fullness. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll see you on the next video, my friends.